The Limberlost Forest and Wildlife Reserve is a sustainably managed forest in Ontario that is open to the public throughout the year. 10,000 acres of unspoiled hardwood forest encompass dozens of pristine lakes. Over 70 kilometers of hiking trails make these forests and lakes accessible to you and your family. The endlessly varied terrain is also home to countless wildlife habitats. Only a 2.5-hour drive north from Toronto, the Limberlost Forest is a premier destination for ecotourists and nature lovers from across Canada. Trails meander through stunning valleys, lush woodlands, and along the shores of cool lakes. Our trails have continued to define the Limberlost Forest as a wilderness haven since the 1920s. Early conservationist Bobby Burns was the first to construct our trails through the forest and around the pristine lakes, many of which have been restored and upgraded to explore today. In total, he built and maintained 150 kilometers of trails to varying standards that hikers, horseback riders, and snowshoers have used for generations. Since the early 1990s, a group of volunteers have restored over 70 kilometers of the original trail system. Along the way, you will experience many kinds of forests, which have been conserved and sustainably managed for the past 30 years. Our focus is on restoring and improving the quality of our forest, giving priority to ecological values. The trails are also actively used by wildlife to move between foraging areas and watering holes. They circle around the 4 principal lakes with key attractions and habitats along the way. In addition to a variety of maps, the Limberlost Master Trail Guide identifies and explains these areas and points of interest. The bird sanctuary on the Buck Lake Trail and the numerous beaver dams along the Kalonga Wetland Trail are active wildlife sites, especially at dawn and in the early evenings. Many animals and native plant species flourish in these areas. The quartz outcrop on the Solitaire Lake Trail and the boulders at Naomi's Rest found along the Turtle Lake Trail were identified as debris from the Brent meteor, which landed in eastern Algonquin Park many millions of years ago. Along the High Lake Trail, windmills provide oxygen to the lake to encourage healthy aquatic life, and an amazing family of beavers labor to maintain a dam that keeps the lake full. Stunning lookouts, portages, and streams are among the unique attractions found along the trails of the Limberlost Forest. History also exhibits itself along the extensive trail network. Remnants are still visible of Matthew and Dorothy McMaster's stone boundary from when they farmed the lands near the Limberlost Forest. An orchard from these early settlers is recognizable in the middle of the forest, and a Scots pine plantation established by the Langmead family in the late 1800s is now regenerating naturally. For more modern history, the Ski Hill Trail leads to where several ski runs were operated in the early 1900s. They were the first mechanized ski lifts in the region and increased its popularity as a winter destination. There is also evidence of at least 8 settlers' cabins on the property. Some were dismantled by the current owners for safety reasons, but others have been restored. The Will Quinn Cabin on the Buck Lake Trail and the Hickory Tom Cabin on the High Lake Trail have been restored for hikers to rest and for artists to work from and store their supplies. All visitors are encouraged to remain on established trails to avoid damaging animal habitats and plant growth. The trails are of varying difficulty, and visitors are urged to be conscious of the safety requirements. Visitors should drive through the main gate and check in at the office. This allows our staff to know that you are on the property and to offer advice on the most appropriate trails for your group to explore. Be sure also to stop in at the Visitor Center to look at maps and consult trail guides on your first visit. We invite you to contact us for further information about rates, reservations, and day visits at 705-635-1584. You can visit our website at limberlostlodges.com for directions, information about our trails, accommodations, and other activities, and also for electronic versions of our publications.